Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. We so often look at countries and just see the final results, right? The towering skyscrapers, the sprawling highways, the bustling economies. But we rarely get to actually peek behind the curtain. Well, today, we're opening the door to the ultimate engine room. We are going to explore exactly how a nation meticulously plans its long-term growth step by step, policy by policy. It's going to be a fascinating ride.
To kick things off, I want to pose a massive question to you. How do you coordinate the growth of an entire country? Seriously, just think about that for a second. Think about the sheer logistical puzzle of national development. We aren't just talking about managing a local business or running a town. We're talking about millions of citizens, vast landscapes, shifting climates, and super complex economies. It's a staggering challenge. Who actually sits down and maps all of this out?
Well, for Pakistan, the answer to that monumental question lies with the Ministry of Planning, Development, and Special Initiatives. It's often abbreviated as the MoPD. Formed in its current iteration back in 2013, this Islamabad-based ministry serves as the central architect for the country's economy and infrastructure. They are the folks officially tasked with the ultimate financial and public policy development of the entire nation.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Architects of Pakistan's Future. To truly understand how this massive undertaking works, we need to look at the primary machinery operating inside this ministry. It's not just one big room of people pointing at maps. It's a highly structured ecosystem. And at the very heart of it is the Planning Commission of Pakistan. Think of it this way. If the ministry is the vehicle, the Planning Commission is the actual engine block. This is the main division where the real heavy lifting happens. It's right here that state policies and massive infrastructure expansions are systematically researched, debated, and drafted to actively drive the growth of the national economy.
Section 2. Vision 2025 and the Commission.
So we know what the machinery is, but machinery needs a destination, right? It needs a purpose. That destination is Vision 2025. This is the country's overarching long-term development blueprint. And it's not just a dry collection of financial targets, it's a comprehensive roadmap aiming to create a globally competitive, prosperous country. The ultimate goal of all this intense bureaucratic coordination is to actually elevate the daily lives and the quality of life for every single citizen. It's the difference between merely balancing a national budget and truly building a society. To make that high quality of life a reality, Vision 2025 breaks down into some massive priority areas. Just consider the scale here. Integrated energy, modernization of infrastructure, institutional reform, value addition in commodity sectors and export promotion, and then you have water and food security alongside private sector-led growth and absolutely vital climate action. And this brilliantly illustrates just how broad and interconnected a nation's challenges truly are. You can't modernize infrastructure without integrated energy, and you certainly can't have food security without robust climate action. They are literally all pieces of the exact same massive puzzle.
Section 3. Specialized branches and institutes.
Now that we've seen those big macro-level goals, we have to ask, how do they execute these on the ground? Well, the ministry relies on a fascinating network of highly specialized micro-institutes. Let's start by introducing our first key acronym, PIDE. PIDE stands for the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, located right near Islamabad. This isn't just your standard government office. It is a postgraduate research institute and a major public policy think tank. You can think of it as the intellectual hub of the ministry. It's the brain trust where all the deep, rigorous economic research and complex public policy thinking takes place long before any blueprints are finalized.
But of course, world-class research needs capable hands to execute it. And that brings us to the crucial human element, PPMI.
PPMI is the Pakistan Planning and Management Institute. You see, having a brilliant blueprint like Vision 2025 is completely useless without skilled people to actually implement it. So PPMI is the division of the Planning Commission responsible for training officers across the board at the federal, provincial, and district levels. They teach vital, hands-on skills in project management, social development, and information technology. They essentially ensure the government's workforce has the cutting-edge analytical skills needed to manage these highly complex national-scale projects. A grand plan simply fails without the boots on the ground who know how to get the job done.
Moving right along, we have DERA. This unit is a perfect demonstration of how the ministry doesn't just sit around looking at long-term economic theories, but also tackles highly specific, incredibly urgent geographic crises.
DERA stands for the Federal Drought Emergency Relief Assistance Unit. Now, what's really interesting to see here is how the government actively coordinates relief for immediate environmental threats. Drought is a severe, life-altering issue, and DERA is dedicated to active, on-the-ground crisis management. They facilitate project implementation to mitigate these devastating effects whenever drought threatens any of the 4 provinces of Pakistan.
Finally, let's look at our last specialized branch for today. This one actually has some real history to it, having been established way back in 1977 with the help of foreign funding, the NFDC. The National Fertilizer Development Centre, or NFDC, is entirely dedicated to studying fertilizer-related problems. They look at the whole shebang, the entire chain, from the initial supply sources all the way down to the actual application right there in the farmers' fields. And then they use this data to formulate critical government policies. If we connect this directly back to our Vision 2025 goals, you'll remember that one of the massive pillars was water and food security. Well, the NFDC is an absolutely critical tool for ensuring the nation's crops grow and the food supply remains completely secure. Section 4. The Ministry's Leadership.
We've explored the engine, the blueprint, and the tools. Now, we need to shift our focus to the actual people pulling the levers of this massive administrative machine. At the very top of this hierarchy is the federal minister, but they don't just hold one title. By design, the Minister for Planning, Development, and Special Initiatives must be a member of the Parliament of Pakistan. Furthermore, they simultaneously serve a dual role as the Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission. By wearing both of these hats, the minister acts as the absolutely crucial bridge between political will and actionable infrastructure. And to handle this immense workload, they are supported administratively by the Planning and Development Secretary.
Let's move on and see how this builds over time. Looking at the timeline of ministers since 2013, a truly unique pattern of administrative continuity emerges. Ahsan Iqbal took office in 2013, holding the role until 2018. Then, after terms by Khusro Bakhtiar and Asad Umar, Ahsan Iqbal returns in 2022, and then again in 2024, where he serves as the incumbent. It is a rare structural anomaly for sure, seeing the exact same official step into this highly complex position 4 separate times over the span of a single decade. So, look at everything we've covered today, from the grand macro visions of 2025 to the specialized research think tanks, the human management training, the emergency drought relief, and the vital fertilizer supply chains. What does this sheer scale tell us about the complexities of building a nation's future? It tells us that progress isn't an accident. It is meticulously engineered. It requires relentless, ongoing coordination to turn a blueprint into a reality that citizens can actually feel in their daily lives. So the next time you see a brand new highway being built or a sprawling, successful farm, I want you to ask yourself, whose blueprint are you really looking at?